Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have an interesting video here. I initially was going to make this a spoiler video, and then I decided not to. So there are no spoilers in this video, but if you don't want us to set up some hypothetical scenarios, then this might not be for you. There are new dramatic details, none of which will be released in this video, none of which. But the Barstool podcast, Chicks in the Office, does their evening reaction to the Bachelor Fantasy Suites last night, and they say something, you can see in the top right here, that they've received information that's absolutely wild. We're going to listen to what they said, and then we can speculate, but we don't know what it is, so let's keep the speculation on the pages and not reach into the DMs of any of the contestants or anything like that. So I'm going to share this. Again, it's no spoilers here, no spoilers in this video, but boy, is it close. All right, but first, let's listen to what Reality Steve has to say about last night's Gabby and Zach moment where he crossed his own boundaries.
Gather our thoughts here, and let's talk about what happened with Gabby. So Zach breaks his vow. And Zach decides, for whatever reason, he wants to have sex with Gabby. And it's not like it's just his decision. It's clearly hers as well.
True.
Zach is allowed to have sex.
True.
And Gabby is allowed to have sex as well. As long as it's two consenting adults, they're allowed to have sex. Now, it doesn't help matters that Zach said before the date, I don't want to. And during the date, tells Gabby, this is not how I want this to go. Are men allowed to change their mind? Sure. And Gabby was clearly into it. She wanted it as well. So there's nothing wrong with them having sex. The biggest problem here was
self-made. The biggest problem is that Zach set this standard that he couldn't live up to. And a lot of people are commenting, oh, he only said that because he didn't want to look bad. No, my belief is he wanted to pull the Matt James, which is, if you know who your finalist is going to be, don't muddy the waters with sex. I mean, that's what he said, don't muddy the waters. Oh boy, those waters are muddy.
Zach feeling the need that he had to tell Katie about it. And you can say all he wants about, hey, I don't want to lie. I don't want to keep secrets. I'm not going to keep any secrets. I can't do this. The bottom line was that benefited him. He wasn't looking out for Katie's feelings. He was looking out for his own because he realized he fucked up.
True.
And he was covering his own.
And it didn't benefit Gabby either.
Own ass. Because while that may seem really noble of you, to not hold any secrets from Katie, number one, eventually Katie was going to find out about this anyway. There's no way, because we've clearly seen Katie and Gabby are BFFs. I got to believe this would have come up in a future conversation. Not to mention watching the show. Like, all Katie would have had to do. Like, if Gabby somehow kept it from Katie all this time, Katie would have found out last night.
Yeah, so this is one of those situations where we've looked at this in so many different angles, and it comes down to Zach would have been called out. Would he had rather have had that difficult conversation on the show or afterwards, right? Because or maybe it wouldn't have come out. Maybe although, and these are just scenarios. If Zach ends up with Gabby and doesn't hook up with Katie, then that's fine, But if Zach ends up with Gabby and then he has to trust Katie that. I'm sorry, if Zach ends up with Katie, then he has to trust Gabby that Gabby's not going to tell their secret that they had sex. So I think he just felt like from the bottom of his heart, I have to let this be out there because people will know, then I'll be caught in lies, and whoever I end up choosing in the end, it'll be built on shaky ground, this, that, and the other. Well, there's something we just don't know. And we're not going to get the answers here, so don't get your hopes up. But let's listen to the live reaction from Chicks in the Office as they mention DMs they received that provide information that says it's going to be a crazy final episode, which will be next week.
It's like proposal to Katie. I also have to be completely honest.
Rhea here.
I won't spoil it for anybody else.
What are you about to do?
No spoilers.
What are you about to do? I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with what was just said or any of the women that are left or anything. I heard something happens that's insane. And I don't know if it's true. Somebody just DM'd it to me, no warning. I just got this DM. And I've been dying to fucking talk about it for a minute. But I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Interesting.
Which may have been those are the tease. I was roped back into this season.
Roped back into this season, not saying anything. What could it be? I mean, people are leaving comments, and don't leave any spoilers in the comments, but honestly, this isn't anything we know about. Zach could very well, there's so many scenarios. Zach could very well end up with Katie and or Gabby. I shouldn't say and Gabby, but he could end up with both Katie and Gabby. That literally is one of the speculations people are saying is maybe that's a little more complicated than that. But Zach could end up with Gabby and it doesn't make it to the after the final rose. He could end up with Katie and they don't make it to the after the final rose. They could still be together. Or in the very common scenario is that he ends up with either Katie and or Gabby and they break up in a couple months. Once they come down from the high of the show. Because that's what really happens, right? People come down from the high of the show. They realize, oh, we're not really meant to be. Our love only existed in Thailand, or we found love in a hopeless place, whatever.
Oh, shit.
Because
now
what I'm hearing is
Now, see, even though you say it's not a spoiler, the way you reacted to this entire cutting stems is telling. You went off, like, I feel like you went off on Zach, so I feel like Zach did something.
No, it really has nothing to do with, like, I just don't want to say what I heard, but it doesn't have anything to do with this, like, with these women or this final.
It hasn't swayed your opinion on what we just watched.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with these women.
Okay.
But that's a good tease. Because
so if the spoiler she has nothing to do with the women, I personally couldn't even pretend to guess what she knows, but I also don't believe she's making it up. You know, look, we all receive DMs that are pretty wild, but you know, you kind of know when someone's giving you a DM where there's no motivation for them to share that with you, as in they're keeping it a secret. They don't want their account being shown. Some people want chaos, but some people know something. Now, it's been rumored that Zach's friends have liked somebody's Instagram photos. There's even been a spoiler, which I'm not going to share now, but there have been spoilers that show the photo of who gets the final rose, which you assume is the engagement. But we don't know if that's true. There's so many things we don't know. Probably not. And to be quite fair, as Reality Steve said, he didn't even know what went down this episode. He said this actually in the clip that I didn't share, is that he said, look, he didn't know when he found out that somebody was going to have sex, even though it was the no sex week. He didn't know he didn't know who it was going to be, and he was surprised that it was Gabby.
I am curious about what the hell you're talking about. So that's
I'll text you after I will, but.
By the way, unmarked DM. They just sent it.
Like semi-unmarked. Like I already saw it being typed out. You know, like it was like Bachelor T, and then it was like, you know, I saw and I was like, all right, well, I have to get this.
God, I hate when that happens.
I hate it too.
But it doesn't. It's not changed.
I love it.
Like anything I said tonight has nothing to do with what I was told whatsoever.
Okay, good clarification.
Okay.
All right. Well, then sounds like maybe something crazy is going to happen. I'm assuming we'll have an after the final rose. That'll be dramatic as always.
And I would never speculate on somebody's pregnant or this. I don't think it's something crazy like that. Does me saying I wouldn't speculate, does that mean I'm speculating? I don't know. You can leave a comment respectfully if you have any ideas, but let's keep the spoilers out of this video since this is a no spoiler video. We're at the home stretch. We're 6 days away. Last night, if you didn't catch it, our after the show live stream featured tons of your voicemails. Do you guys want to go to a voicemail right now? I wasn't prepared to do this, but we have so many of them. Let's see if we can go to one of your voicemails because I'm sure some came in after I left last night. Oh yeah, we got tons of voicemails. Let's see what Steve in Ohio has to say.
Steve from Ohio. First come, first serve. That's all I had to say. That's why he slept with who he slept with. First one. First come, first serve.
Well, he didn't sleep with Ariel, though. So that, how does that work out? But either way, thanks for the phone call.
Hey, Dave. This is first-time caller, Rowan from Wisconsin. And I love your show. Thank you so much for it. I have a slightly different perspective on the Zach thing. As someone that suffers from OCD myself, there is a form of OCD called scrupulosity OCD. And it is sort of a preoccupation and obsession with doing the right thing and morals.
Wow.
And a lot of times the compulsion has to do with telling the truth, where you just can't hold it in because it eats you alive and you have to make things right and you got to tell the truth. So there's a different perspective. I know a lot of people were giving Zach a lot of shit about this, but, you know, as someone that suffers from it, I just saw it through a completely different lens. Anyway, love your show. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for the call. How fascinating. So it could be that Zach suffers from, and again, not trying to be an armchair therapist here, because what do I know? But I appreciate the phone call. That maybe he just feels like he has to tell the truth, and his moral compass cannot be bent in any direction but the truth. And I've thought of that as well. So you ever have a one-track mind? You ever have like your mind on something, and somebody tries to interrupt you, and you're like, no, I'm thinking, like you're trying to think about something to get it to the finish line. Some people, when you lose that, it all hell goes loose in your brain. And I guess that could be true for someone who's not getting the truth out. It's going to need to bubble to that surface. And why not, Zach? Why wouldn't he be that way? Should we do one more? Let's do one more. Boy, we're going to have a ton more of these comments. I've got so many voicemails here. I got a whole list of them. I'll play some of them on today's Bachelor Rush Hour this afternoon. Bachelor Rush Hour with Dave Neal. Link in the comment section. It's the podcast with all original content, most original content for you there.
Hi, Dave. Michelle from San Luis Obispo, California. I just want to say, what a cluster tonight. But I think Zach really meant to do things right, and he had a good point when he said he's going to get engaged at the end, and someone's going to find out, so he might as well be transparent. On the
There it is. He might as well be. Oh, yeah, there's more to it.
other hand, the biggest takeaway is I thought Katie was so honest, transparent, and real. Like, basically, she's like,
Yeah, Katie was honest. She set her boundaries. I had to cut out your voicemail because you can always hear the TV in the background. You got to mute the TV just because it's bad audio. Bad audio. And we'll have to see if there's any good audio next week when it comes to the drama that's going to unfold. It's shaping up to be a wild finale. I personally don't think that the folks over at Chicks in the Office would be faking their hype and curiosity that they have. We'll have to see if there's a payoff. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to go live right after this. Patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind the scenes tea and news and content and all the live streams. I'll be live with you guys on the membership only community right after this. We'll see you this afternoon for Bachelor Rush Hour. All right. Well, and there might be one more breaking story. I'm not sure. So make sure you're subscribed. We're working on one more story. It either comes out this afternoon or tomorrow. But either way, get on the edge of your seat and be ready for that. We'll be back later.